Upon a Time, Season 2, Sundays this fall on ABC.
Okay, guys, on to season 2 of Once Upon a Time. So I got the Netflix episodes up here, so make sure I don't go into season 3 territory. So let's start with what you just saw. Yes, Rumpelstiltskin brought magic to Storybrooke to help him find his son because he still needs a cane, like how he explains in episode 4, that um, magic is his cane, is what is what to him, and he's too much to try to do it on his own without magic to help him, and that's what Belle helps him realize. So let's start with the 3 characters we learned who they were during this season. We learned that Cora was the Queen of Hearts and the Miller's wife, the Miller's daughter. We learned that Neil is Bellfire, and we learned that Dr. Will is Dr. Frankenstein. Now, same exact thing with Neil. I wanted Neil to be a regular person. The second wanted Pinocchio to be regular. The second wanted August to be a regular person. But I did get that. I did finally get that out of Tamara and Greg. Tamara and Greg were my regular people. I remember when were people thinking Tamara was um Tiger and Lily, because since they were starting to do Peter Pan, they had at the very end of the show they started doing Peter Pan at the very end of the season. The last 2 episodes had to do with Peter Pan, because we find out the reason how Bay was able to survive all those years was because he spent half of it in Wonderland. Um, Must have been Wonderland. Neverland. Why did I do that? Neverland. He became one of the Lost Boys, and so and that's with the last 2 episodes. So a lot of people thought since we were that was going to happen, we figured, okay, so we think that Tamara is Tiger Lily. Well, they were wrong. Tamara was a regular person who wanted to get rid of magic, just like Greg. Greg wanted to get rid of magic, and so he can find his dad. And but they didn't really get an explanation for Tamara. For Greg, they gave it an explanation why he would want to get rid of magic to get back at Virginia for taking away his father. And but Tamara doesn't really have a reason like Greg does for so and we find out who they're working for later on in season 3. Well, since we're not there yet, I'm not gonna talk about that yet. So now let's start with the family tree, since I have to address it's a lot more addressed in this part, because then there's that line where um David says Thanksgiving would be hell for us. Yeah, Thanksgiving is hell for a lot of families, but yeah, Thanksgiving really would have been hell for you guys. So let's see what we got so far right here in this season. I'm not going to go into other seasons. So we have. Let's start with So we have Snow White's parents on this side who are also somewhat related to first Henry, except for he's like down the line because that way when Cora would have that's how Cora made it to where when she married Henry she got it to where because Virginia was 6 in line to take the throne if she was if they were going to do the natural way. If like a bunch of people died, they would it would have to do the natural way. So Snow White's family was Prince Leopold was older than Henry than Prince Henry. So since he was like since Prince Leopold was 6 was 5th in line since Virginia was 6. So since they so that means there's like 5 sons in the family, but we only know about 2. We know about the oldest and the youngest. We don't know about the other 4, about the other 3. So that's the beginning of Snow White's. That's the beginning of Snow White's side. So that leads down to Snow. So after Prince Leopold and his wife had Snow White, then she met David, and on David's side, he has he grew up on a farm, just like David from the Bible, just like David from the Bible. He was a shepherd. Um, he grew up on a farm. He had his mom was Ruth, and his dad. I don't know his dad's name. They don't really talk about his dad in season 2. We know that he in season 2 that he died from died from a carriage ride uh, from being drunk. That's all we know about in this season. We find out later on what really happens, but not in this season. So let's get back to the tree. So after Ruth and her husband had David and James, James was when to go off lived with King George because they could not afford to keep both sons. They would both David and James would end up dying. So they asked Rumple to bargain one away. So so technically King George is part of it, the tree, since he did adopt James, but you can say that. So now we're at David and Snow White. So David and Snow White had Emma, and Emma met Neil or Bellfire, and Bellfire's parents was Rumple and Mira. So we don't know who Rumple's parents are yet. I'll explain to that when we get to that season. And we never we have never found out who Mira's parents are. So after so now we're at Emma and Neil. Now we're gonna go down to Henry Jr. But since he was adopted by Virginia, it's the same exact thing. So we're back to at the beginning to where Snow White, we're back to King Leopold and Cora, and Queen Leopold and his wife. And when I said Henry Prince Henry and Cora, they since they were his adopted grandparents, um, they that they're part of the family. So even though Virginia is still part of the family, but technically they would be already be related to him since they are since King Leopold and Prince Henry are brothers. So that's how that's so and the line is Henry, the little boy, who was on season 2, guess is almost is 11. So that is the family tree so far in season 2. You think it's complicated now, guys? You think it's complicated now? Wait till later on. Okay, now we're done with the dumb, complicated family tree. We have now. Let's do to my favorite apps. Let's talk about the let's say, okay, there's more than three main. There's more than three new characters, but these are the ones who actually stick around more. I mean, technically there's 4 because if you count on the giant, Anton, you can make it 4. So, but Anton is not really mentioned that much in later seasons like these other ones. One is one is more mentioned on later seasons out of the 3. We don't really see we do see Mulan and Aurora more. We barely see Philip. So, but yeah, so technically we get you can count 5. You can count 5. So we get Prince Philip, Sleeping Beauty, Aurora, also Sleeping Beauty, Mulan, in her name, um, Anton, the giant from Jack and the Beanstalk, and Hook. Yeah, the one who gets mentioned on more later on. I mentioned last. So Hook, I will explain more about him since he's actually more prominent later on in these other 4. So Hook is a ladies' man. He tries to get other girls to like him, even though it's all just a game to him. So he tries it on all 4 of the women that he comes across. Okay, technically 5. You want to count Cora. So he tries it on all 5 of them. He flirts with Snow. He flirts with Aurora. He flirts with Mulan. He flirts with Emma, and he flirts with Cora. All 5 of them. 2 of them are married. Aurora and Snow are married. Um, Emma is not interested. She doesn't. She think she kind of is. She keeps on telling him no, but because she is heartbroken. Her heart was broken from what Neil did to her. So so and Cora only cares about trying to get back to Virginia. And well, I'll explain to what's going on with Mulan in season 3. So wait, since he flirts with all of them, he's a ladies' man, but he also is out for revenge against Rumpelstiltskin, who is the crocodile. That's right. Never smile at a crocodile. No, don't go get friendly with the crocodile. Yeah, that's one song that wasn't in Peter Pan. Yet it was on a sing along. So since they made him into the crocodile, he didn't. Okay, he didn't eat Hook's hand, but he still took it to get the bean that would lead him to his son. But he was also won revenge for killing Mira, since when Mira left Rumple because she didn't want to be married to a coward, so she went with Hook, but she also left Bay behind. If she was gonna be a good mother, she should have took him with her. I mean, that's what I don't like about her. She deserted her son too. Her son needed her, and she doesn't realize that she did something wrong too. I mean, she only puts the wrong on Rumple for being a coward, but she doesn't realize that she was cowardly too because she went with a pirate instead of staying behind and being a mother because she couldn't stand being a wife. But she should have at least took took Buffire with her. So I mean, Hook said they would come back and get him later, but they didn't. They never did. I mean, they could have. Why didn't they? So, because he was still there when he was 14, because he was gonna chip off to the Ogre War when he turned 14. Remember? So you could have gone and get him when he was around 14, but that's what I don't like. That's one thing I don't like about her. So my my favorite episodes. It's okay. Let's go. Okay. Aurora lost Philip because the raid, and so Cora tells her how to get Philip back. Yet that episode hasn't been shown yet in any of the seasons. When are they gonna show that one? Because we still haven't seen Mulan and Aurora later on seasons um going to get one save Philip. So um so so Mulan when Snow and Emma ride back in Fairytale Lands, that's when they meet both Mulan and Aurora, and that's when they run into Hook and Cora, and we figure out that Cora made it happen to where some of them will escape the curse and stay behind the magical world, and Mulan, Philip, and Aurora were on the island when it happened, when they made sure that island would escape the curse. Yet when they escaped the curse, they still went on an endless loop, went on for 28 years, just like them. But they didn't travel to our world like the rest of them did. So neither did Anton. I don't know. I don't think because Anton was above. Because when they come back to our world, Cora made sure that she took Anton, so they can use him as an extraction for David and make David um face Goliath. You can say because in a way since he is David. Even though that episode was more of the episode was both Jack and Jill, but I see it as a Jack and Jill episode and a David and Goliath episode. So yeah, it makes this where we have to sympathize with Goliath and David, but it doesn't make us really sympathize with Jack because she um, went up there for gold, which is what happens in the book. He went up there for gold, but in the book, um, he, not she, went up there for gold for her farm, not for a greedy kingdom, like in the show. Since they had to make trying to make David look bad by using his brother, since Anton thought that he was James, since he did not know that James had a twin brother. So let's see. For some reason, they made Anton into a dwarf and named him Tiny. Like, that doesn't make any sense. He ain't a dwarf, guys. He's a giant. So why does he get a pickaxe? Since they're trying to replace Sneezy, since Sneezy went across the town line and we came back to being the town clinic. Yeah, whose idea was to give Sneezy the clinic? Yeah, great job, Virginia. Let's give somebody who's time on the medicine and make sure everybody else stays safe. Great idea. So, yeah, let's also address that too. Yeah, um, making Jiminy Cricket the therapist. Good sense. That makes sense. Making Grumpy the town drunk. Makes sense. But making Sneezy the town works at pretty much the Walgreens. No, 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 no. So that doesn't work. um, on to let's do characters because it has changed, guys. I told you. I told you. I told you it would change. Since we did not know that much about Belle in the first season, since she spent most of it inside of a sane asylum, she we didn't really get to know her just for the Beauty and the Beast episode, and when um Jefferson told her that to go find Rumple. So when that happened, so we really get to know Belle. So Belle is one of my favorite characters in the second episode, in the second season. What is with them using lost characters? What is with them? See, Anton was a lost character. Belle was. Virginia was. Later on, they still do. I'll tell you guys. I hope you guys spot them on later on too. But since they use them, since this was a lot, since the creators made Lost. So um so I like Belle, and I still like Emma. Rumple, still like Rumple. Um, I do like Hook, because the whole entire time when they're having a turmoil, the entire battle between the two of them, I understand both sides because I'm a neutralist, if you can say. I try my best to understand both sides of the fight. I mean, I understand Rumple's because he got mad for Hook taking away Mira, but I also understand Hook's side because Rumple killed Mira. So I understand both sides of the spectrum of the battle. So, and I do like Hook because he is funny and he's a ladies' man. It's not so, and he has an Irish accent. Can you move, Sully? Not now. But I want to score. Not yet. Oh man, I only got to season 3, guys. I mean, I watched some of them. So we're not there yet, though. Okay. Um. After, so that's why I like, and Belle I like it when she's Belle. When she's all knowledge and reads books. I like her when she's that. I hate it when she's Lacey. I don't like it. I hate what Virginia turned her into. I hate it. Whose idea was to make Belle into an alcoholic? Whose idea was that? Come on. Whose idea? I want to go hurt that person whose idea? Okay. Let's make Belle into an alcoholic. Come on. No. Now you guys know the episode I hate. I don't like the episode where they turn my favorite character into an where they turn my favorite Disney princess into an alcoholic. I hated it. Like, no, whose idea was to do that to my favorite Disney princess? So that episode I can't stand because I can't stand her pretty much being Pinocchio, like drinking, playing pool. Me, I don't mind you drink a little bitty bit, like once in a while, but like every time I see Lacey, she had alcohol right near her, and she was fooling around with the sheriff of Nottingham, the sheriff of Nottingham. Instead of Rumple, instead of the Beast. So that's the episode I could not stand. The episodes, um, I like. I like two of them. Um, I like. Let me get Netflix back up. So the one that you guys know I did not like was episode 18 called Lacey, and the episodes I like in season 2 are okay. Actually, there's 3. So I'll tell you the ones I like. The one I like first. I like this one, episode 11, The Outsider, and the second episode I like, The Outsider, one where we learn more about Belle, and where she go fights the what was it? Okay, I'm gonna read it to you. Mr. Gold uses unwilling tests to fix his spell works. Belle runs into Hook. David and Mary Margaret looks for a bigger house. So basically, in The Outsider, um, we learn that she tries to take down the well, it's basically I can look it up. I can look up the character. I'll put it right here. But it's basically a lion with fiery hair, and it was find out it was actually Philip, and because she was able to figure it out by being how smart she was, and understanding the language that the creature was writing on the ground. She she freed the beast just like she's supposed to, instead of killing it. So since Lesent turned Philip into that creature, um, to stop him from being near Aurora. Um, so and at the end of the episode, we get we kind of get a line that kind of sounds like something Snow and Prince Charming would say to each other, because how they said, "I will always find you." We kind of hear that kind of something like this from Belle. She says, "I'll never stop fighting for him." So something like that. Um, because since Virginia captures her at the very end of that part, and she also has, and 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 in episode 4, I think episode 4 is called The Crocodile. She also has to deal with a lot of the same things in that one too. She has to deal with is um Rumple worth still being with? I'll read it to you guys. Belle threatens to leave Mr. Gold if he doesn't change. The dwarves try to find the the fairy's dust, and Rumpelstiltskin tries to save his wife from pirates. So since this also explains the whole entire situation with Hook and Rumple, and how see, I'm gonna try to explain to you the difference between the fight of Rumpelstiltskin and Hook, Rumpelstiltskin when he fought David. See, what he was playing with both, but since I think he was a little more with David, he's a little more playful with David because since he wasn't actually trying to kill David in season 1, he was trying to help him out. He was trying to help him out so he can actually use David to put the egg inside Lesend. See, since that fight was a lot more playful, and the fight he had with Hook is a lot more serious, to where he actually wants to actually kill Hook. He didn't want to kill David, but he actually wanted to kill Hook. Different situation, since he wanted to kill Hook for taking away his wife, but in that situation he wanted to help David find Snow. But he wanted to make sure there was something in it for him. So different fights, different situations, and different actions of Rumpelstiltskin. So that's so that's what I want to explain about the fight, and that's why I liked about that fight, because we got to see a different side of Rumpelstiltskin than we did in that fight. So, and he was still stopped at the very end because he came very close to killing Hook. Killian. He came very close to killing him. Mira stopped him. So he still did kill Mira at the very end by crushing her heart. So that's my second favorite episode. And my third is episode 14, called Manhattan. Since that's where it is. Emma and Mr. Gold take their search to New York. Hook and Cora Cora and Virginia look for the one Rumpelstiltskin most precious possess. So this explains how Rumpelstiltskin injured his leg on purpose so he could go home and take care of Bellfire, so he would not have to lose his dad, just like he lost his dad. So he didn't want the cycle to repeat itself. Yet the cycle did repeat itself, because that event of him injuring his leg on purpose led him to abandon his son by choosing magic instead of his son. That incident led to that incident, since the seer got inside his head. He listened to the seer, but he let the incident. He took what she said for granted. He thought he would die. If he died on battlefield, that's what he thought the seer had meant. But he did not know that the seer meant you're going to leave your son for you're going to teach your son. You're going to teach your son over magic, since you injured your leg on purpose. So that, since the seer wasn't clear about it, and she gets mad to her. And in that instant, we get to see Rumple pissed, and we he has to he kills the seer because how mad he was. But he also tells her before he dies that Henry will be his undoing. That is also still not resolved. I mean, come on. It kind of does in a way. I mean, if you think about it, later on it might. But because he learns that the boy might be his undoing. So so he thinks he might have to kill Henry. So that so those are my three favorite episodes, and the one I can't stand is Lacey because what it did to my favorite Disney princess. Me, like I said, I don't mind a little bit of drinking, but I don't like it when you have the bottle near you constantly. So she was not Belle anymore. I I don't so what I like about Belle is that she's full of knowledge and she likes to have adventures. So because that's who I want to be. I want to be full of knowledge and like to have adventures. Because that's why I see myself. Me and Belle have a lot in common. Um, so so much so I got the book, guys. So let's not see how much I like Belle. That so back to the characters now I can't stand. Um, Virginia. Well, Lacey goes bye bye at the end. Goes bye bye. So we don't have to worry about Lacey anymore. But I can't stand Mira. Um, for the reasons I told you guys. Virginia. Um, she's starting to realize what she did to Henry is wrong. Parts of it. I mean, Cora starts to get into her head. Cora is the one I can't stand because Cora gets inside Virginia's head, and she's still her head. It's still inside of her. Even after Snow and Rumple kills Cora, so Rumple could live. Um, even after that, but since Cora got mentally messed with Virginia's head. I can't stand her. So when she died, I was kind of happy, even though her last lines was, "All I needed was you." So I do like that better. Um, but so I can't stand Cora. By the end of the season, I think Virginia is starting to realize that what she did to Henry was wrong. She stopped trying to be her mother. She should start trying because she's starting to learn forgiveness. Because she hasn't fully forgiven Snow yet for what happened with over Daniel. But she's starting to because she needs to for Henry, since Henry is Snow's grandson. So that that's it. But the she still somewhat somewhat hates Snow. The forgiveness hasn't really set in that much, but she is starting to because at the end of the season we see what happens next because they have to go and save Henry from Peter Pan, since that's where that's where Owen and Tamara took Henry at the very end, since they wanted to make it where everybody else, see, in the first season when it ended, only Henry was in turmoil, since he was gonna might die from the poison apple turnover. But they wanted to make everybody else was in trouble except for Henry, because since Henry's not from the magical world, since he was born here, um it would not affect him if the curse would not affect him, since he was from here, if the curse was ended. So, but he would be left all alone. But still, he was still in trouble at the very end, because since they have to figure out how to go and save him from Peter Pan the next season. That's what ends with the tomorrow. We find out that Peter Pan needs Henry for something. You find out what that something is next season. So that's how it ends, and we figure out that's who Greg and Tamara were working for. Why Greg was Greg wanted to get revenge on Virginia, and while Tamara was using Neil to get to the magic. So, and why she hurt poor August. So that's what. So since that Virginia realized now she has to work with these people. She has to work with Rumple, Hook, Emma, David, and Snow. She has to work with those 5 people. Now, 2 of them she's okay with working with. She's okay with working with Rumple and Hook. She's not okay with working with Emma, David, and Snow, especially Snow. Um, she still, especially Snow and Emma. David, she doesn't David, but that's because he's married to Snow. It's not only him. She's mostly doesn't like the fact she has to work with Snow and Emma, because since Emma wants to have Henry and Snow hurt her with David. So she did let go of Daniel when he came Frankenstein. When she had to let him go. She let him go when she had to make him to fade. So she let him go when that happened. It was very hard for her to do that. Um, because she was trying to get him not to use magic for Henry. See, they kind of make magic like a drug in the show, because where the more you use it, the more addicting it comes. So it's kind of like a drug, you can say, because Virginia gets addicted to it, Rumple's addicted to it, and Emma hasn't been using it enough to get addicted to it yet. So, but that's it for so since she's actually learning, she let go of Daniel. So maybe she will never be one of my favorite characters, but maybe I will learn to understand Virginia just like I understand Rumple. And and like I said, so you guys know my 4 favorite characters, and I'm starting to understand the one I couldn't stand last season, see? But I just can't stand Cora, because now we know the real reason why Virginia was the way she was. The real reason why she was getting inside poor Henry's head. Because of Cora got inside of her head. So, let's rate this, guys. I give this season also a 10 out of 10. Sully, what do you give it? everybody. Hope it wasn't too long. But these are 22 episodes. It's hard. It takes a long time to explain them all.